Hey, man.
Oh, hey, man.
Let's talk about some movies and beer.
I like talking about movies and beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the hop in our names
And the
for beer.
And the topics.
That's for movies.
The movies.
You know, we do that all the time.
Welcome to HopTopics.
Yeah.
Today's movie that we're talking about is Tenacious D and
and
the Pick of Destiny.
And we're talking about the Lagunitas Waldo Special Ale, which is a limited release, so I'm definitely excited about this one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, first, the D. Yeah, if you haven't seen Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, you probably heard of Tenacious D.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't heard of Tenacious D, where have you been?
Right, they've been around forever.
Yeah, they've been around a long time. They had an original show on HBO that lasted 8 episodes before it got canceled. And then they've come out with several albums. I think they're up to like 6 albums or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So they got like the self-titled one, they got the movie album, The Pick of Destiny, they got Rise of the Phoenix, Simply Jazz, which is a random jazz album that they put out. They got Apocalypto, which they came out with, which is also another show that they did. And I think they came out with another one. I can't quite remember the name of that album. But yeah, they've come out with a bunch of stuff. But they're still most well known for their original album, which has some of their most well known songs, you know, Tribute, Wonder Boy. But yeah, Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. I mean, this movie came out in, I think it was 2005 or 6.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe 2007 at the latest.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because I remember being in high school when this movie came out. And, like, my buddies and I all talking about it during gym class. And just being like, oh yeah, Tenacious D. And I think that, like, I had already been really fired up about, like, Jack Black. Because I had another friend, and he and I watched a lot of Jack Black movies and referenced a lot of, you know, his older stuff, especially School of Rock. School of Rock was definitely a big one for me. But, yeah, and then the Tenacious D movie came out, and, you know, we got all excited about it. Even though it's honestly a pretty bad movie in terms of a movie. If you're a Tenacious D fan, it's fantastic. It's
yeah, exactly. I think this is like one of your favorite movies.
It's definitely it's up there for like not in the you know realm of good movies that are my favorite movies,
yes,
but in the realm of dumb movies that are my favorite movies. It's right up there with like Beer Fest and, you know,
Euro Trip.
Yeah, stuff that I still loved from when I was a kid.
Airplane,
Hot Shots. Yeah, but those movies were like originators too. So
yes,
they kind of hold like a little bit more of a special place in like the overall film collective.
True.
Yeah, but Pick of Destiny is great. I love this movie. I've seen it so many times. I've even watched the whole movie with the commentary track, both from the director and then separately with Kyle Gass and Jack Black. So, yeah, I know a lot of weird little things about this movie. At least from what I remember, I watched those commentary tracks like when I was like a junior in high school. So. Yeah, it's 2008. It's a little fuzzy in the memory sometimes, but rewatching the movie tonight definitely reminded me a lot of little things.
I forgot how many cameos there were in this movie.
So many.
But there's
cameos.
A lot. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest ones coming from the beginning with Meatloaf playing JB's dad, and then Dio, freaking. Ronnie James Dio. Like, dude, that's so awesome.
Right.
And, yeah, cameos don't even slow down from there. It's like Ben Stiller, Amy Poehler, Fred Armisen, Tim Robbins probably plays my favorite cameo.
Yes, I love Tim Robbins' character in this movie.
And then of course Dave Grohl as the devil. Spoiler warning, I guess. But this is a review movie. It has been out for
this movie's been out for a
years.
while. Okay,
so
you should have watched this movie already. So
yeah.
One of your friends should have pointed it out to you. But
yeah.
Okay.
If you're a stoner or a Tenacious D fan, or both, most likely both,
Most likely.
you'll have seen this movie. I mean, come on. And if you haven't, well, it's not like the story's really complicated, and like we'll be giving away a lot of the jokes in this video. So I guess we'll hold off on a lot of the
We'll try not to quote the movie too much. Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I always bring that up as a fun little fact that there's multiple Hollywoods in the U.S. and people are like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, and then I realize that the only reason I know that fact is because of this movie. Well, it's the main reason. I'm sure I would have found that out eventually further on down the line, but
yeah.
That was the first place I learned of all of the Hollywoods. But yeah. And then Jack Black learns from Kyle, and then finds out that Kyle's a fake, and then they form the band, and basically it's a whole story about trying to pay their rent with their rock and hunting down the Pick of Destiny.
Pick of Destiny.
And honestly, it kind of seems like the movie was written to end where it did. So oh yeah, well we want a reason to battle the devil. We want to set up the open mic thing from the show, the original show, and then and we want it to kind of lead into Tenacious D as it has been. So yeah, I feel like a lot of it is really poorly written because of the fact that they're trying to get to a spot instead of writing a coherent story and then coming to a natural conclusion.
Yeah.
But it's still funny.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a movie I'm here to critique about the
the writing
direction
of the
writing
movie.
and
Yes.
All
the entire
all the technical aspects
screenplay.
of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of it's pretty bad. So we're not going to worry about that. We're here for Tenacious D, man.
Exactly.
God,
I love this beer.
it's so good.
It really is.
Yeah. And I feel like this is definitely kind of a movie that could be considered a cult classic.
Oh, definitely.
Because it did flop at the box office.
Oh, yeah.
But, I talk to people, and a lot of people that I know have seen this movie. Especially people around our age, mid to late 20s and early 30s to 40s, have seen this movie, And so I find it hilarious, and it's oh yeah, nobody saw it in theaters, but everybody has eventually seen this movie. So it definitely qualifies for cult status, in my opinion. But yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. It's on Netflix right now. I'm sure we mentioned that in our Netflix video.
Probably.
Unless it wasn't on there at the time, but I think
I'm pretty sure it was.
So go watch it, and then watch us review this beer, and then go watch the movie, and then come back and watch the rest of it, so you can laugh at all the jokes that we repeat that you just watched. Anyways, let's talk about this beer, man.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lagunitas comes out with this beer once a year. It's the Waldo Special Ale. It's a triple IPA, clocking in at 11.7%. Oh man, I know I've read, because the one thing that kind of bothers me about Lagunitas is they put all of their little story around the rim of this in tiny 8-point font, and that's kind of irritating. But
the stories are usually very entertaining.
Yeah. I guess I'll just read it. In 1971, the Waldos met one afternoon at 4:19 as to not be late and set out in a 66 Impala. I would love one of those. Armed with a treasure map on a journey to find a spot near Point Reyes. They never found the spot, but they kept looking. The dankest and hoppiest beer ever brewed at Lagunitas was made with the help of the Waldos for the treasure hunters. Alright, cool. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, it's a triple IPA, so it's just loaded with all sorts of flavors and hoppy, malty, very high in alcohol. Like for a beer that you can just like go to a store and buy, it's almost reaching like barrel aged beer percentages.
And like barley wines.
Yeah, like the stuff that's really high in alcohol.
Yes.
So that's probably why they release it in 4-packs. Because otherwise it would be like $25 6-pack or something like that.
Exactly.
That would be ridiculous. I would still buy it, but it'd be ridiculous. But yeah, it tends to come out. When did this come out?
March.
Early March.
Early March.
And it's super limited release, so it's very hard to find. But it's very good. I mean, like, you don't just drink it because it's an 11.7% beer. It's actually a really tasty beer.
That's the added bonus, as they would say, is that it's 11.7.
Yeah.
The fact that it's delicious and tasty is the main factor.
Yeah. I'm getting the hops, I'm getting the malts. You know, it's which is a very general thing to say about a beer,
Especially an IPA.
Yeah. I don't know. For how high alcohol it is, it's not a very like aggressive beer.
No.
It's surprisingly well balanced, and you get some good hop flavors in it without being overly bitter. And I don't know, and it's just a good beer.
Definitely.
I wish I could really kind of dive more into this, but I'm really tired. It's like 3 in the morning right now, so 3:30. So we're a little out of it. If we seem a little spacey, it's definitely because of that.
That and we decided everything's super late.
We decided to drink this beer about 20 minutes ago. If that.
Almost about 15 minutes ago.
I almost said 15. I should have stuck with that. But yeah.
Super well balanced beer. Very tasty. It's not overly bitter. It's not overly malty. It's just good. It's just very tasty. Like, if you can find it, I highly recommend trying it.
Yeah.
5.
100% 5.
Yes, 5.
5 out of 5. It's like very drinkable. It does get a little bit more like kind of tannic after you drink. After you like take a sip, you get a little bit more of the bitterness. Does start to stand out. Like now that I'm actually like trying to look for notes in it. That's kind of the most I can say. I'm kind of leaning more towards some of those like flavors you find in darker beers, because I'm like kind of leaning towards like a caramely flavor, kind of almost like a dark chocolate bitterness.
I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know, it's damn tasty, and if you find it, buy it. You'll probably have to wait till next year because it's probably all sold out.
But even still, like it's definitely worth a beer worth the wait for.
Absolutely. I mean, every year this comes out, I usually buy several. It used to come out in 6-packs.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to 4.
Yeah. Which is more manageable.
Yeah, definitely. But even when it was 6-pack originally, It wasn't super expensive. I think it was like a $17 6-pack or something like that. It's hard to remember. That was a couple of years ago. Because the last couple of years I feel like it's been a 4-pack for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways, 5 out of 5 from both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you see it, give it a try. Take it slow. Sip on it. Enjoy it. Because it will hit you.
Mm-hmm.
I can already tell you, like, it's been about 5 hours since we ate. So, I'm already kind of starting to feel a little flush in the cheeks, and I haven't even finished a whole beer yet.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
It's definitely one that hits you.
Yeah.
But it's worth trying. And worth every moment.
Definitely. And if you're, somebody that doesn't drink a lot, it's a good beer to split.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're just kind of like, you want to get there, but you want it to taste really good,
mm-hmm.
you can have one of these, and it'll definitely get you there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, 5 out of 5 from both of us. And we're gonna move on to talking more about the movie.
Yeah, so
A lot of favorite jokes and cameos and all that fun stuff. So, spoiler alert, like real spoiler alert.
Yep.
For the good stuff. Alright, so lots of cameos, which are definitely, like, all of them are good.
Oh yeah, each one of them is good.
Which one was your favorite?
Favorite out of all of them?
Yeah.
I really liked Tim Robbins' character.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely gets, like, the most screen time out of all the cameos.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way he plays this really ragged Eastern European. like
yeah, rocker dude.
Yeah. He's got, like, the fucked up teeth and... Oh, yeah, we're going to be swearing a lot in this part, too.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be quoting.
They said that word and its variants 106 times in this movie.
106 times. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
But, yeah, I mean, the way he does his scenes and the accent and just everything is so great. Like, the way he moves around is so, like, slow, but every single movement is so intentional.
Like when he's in the restaurant and he's scooting the chair forward.
Yeah.
He keeps scooting forward.
Well, just when he gets into the chair, so he goes and he, like, turns the chair around all jagged and stuff, and then he, like, kind of
throws
himself into the chair, so he spins around, and he puts his freaking walking stick, his clearly handmade walking stick, on the counter. Yeah, oh man. And then as he starts talking to JB, a fly goes by, and he goes to, like, snatch it and misses it entirely. That was just something that happened while that was during one of the takes, and it just fit so well. They kept it in. But yeah, I mean, his accent, pretty much everything that he says is hilarious. When he's telling the story about how he tried to break into the museum, and the door comes down on his leg and cuts it clean off. The line, I always quote it, I miss that sweet-ass fucking leg of mine. It's just so good.
Come over here so I can stab you.
Come over here. I'm going to fucking stab you. No. We're not going over there. Fine. Stay right where you are. Like, there's even a Cards Against Humanity card that's based off of that line where he's like, I'm going to cut out your eyes and cut out your balls and put your eyes in your ball sacks and put your balls into your eye holes. And that's a Cards Against Humanity card. Not word for word, but it's definitely a card. And it reminds me of that movie every single time.
Every time.
And I laugh.
And
then when the
never
cops
gets
show
old.
up, and he's hobbling, he moves it like, with no sense of haste, and then the cops show up and it's like, catch me if you can, and just like takes half a step as they walk up to him, like, oh man, it's so good.
So good.
That's definitely like one of my. There's all of the cameos are just so good because like you have that, and then like right before that you have Amy Poehler's character, the waitress at the diner, and she's just like so dry and sarcastic that she just does such a great job. She's like, hey, well, what do you suggest or what do you recommend? I recommend you order some food.
I'll take a small glass of carrot juice.
Yeah, we ain't got that here.
Oh, then I will have nothing.
Deleted scene. He asked for like 6 different things. And, no. What? No. We don't have that. No. It's just so dry in delivery. And just so perfect. And like the sighs, like when he's all like, I will have nothing. And then she's like, alright. And then turns and just... it's the little things in this movie that always get me. Because there's like all sorts of overt, like over the top, like toilet humor. A lot of fart jokes and and getting hit in the balls. A lot of like really juvenile,
sweet babies.
A lot of like juvenile humor.
Yes.
And then you have like these little moments. Like the freaking, like when they try and write a masterpiece and he draws the pentagram with the ketchup.
The ketchup.
And I got the candles and everything. And one of my many hundreds of favorite moments in this movie is when he starts playing and, he's like yelling at him to like play higher notes, play higher notes. And then once Kyle finds something that sounds really cool, like the riff that he starts playing is really awesome. And then Jamie's just like, molten lava. That little bit right there is just so great. I love all the little things in this movie. And that's what has really kept it to me to be so entertaining. So yeah, the Amy Poehler cameo, the Ben Stiller cameo. I still say Satanis. It's Latin for Satan. It's like deliveries and little things that you don't usually pick up on the first watch. It's like the little things that you enjoy more now that you've seen it. You just kind of like pick up on those things. Those are my favorite parts, and that's always the stuff that goes over people's heads a lot of the time. And that I enjoy so much. Man. Like the little story that Fred Armisen is telling the other security guard while they're smoking weed and JB's trying to break into the museum. And I'm like, he's talking about how he's fighting 2 dudes and like just the ridiculous things that he's doing. And I'm like, I kind of feel like I've told stories like that.
Right, same.
Where it's just like totally exaggerated, but you're like, well, like it kind of happened that way, but it could have really happened the way that I'm telling it, so I'm just gonna tell you that it happened that way.
Exactly.
But yeah, the cameos are great. Obviously, the Meatloaf and the Dio cameos early on in the movie
so good.
Are fantastic, because anytime you get to hear...
when he first meets Kyle and he goes back to his apartment, and I'm like, yeah, of course, play with all the guys from Sabbath.
Yeah. Oh, I know Dio. I helped him write it. Yeah, I'm talking about Holy Diver.
Yeah.
And you did not know Dio? It's like, oh yeah, I know all the guys from Sabbath.
It's again, those little jokes. Yeah. Those little quick ones that you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, and it's like Well, he's specifically talking about Dio,
Yeah.
and he wasn't even singing a Sabbath song.
Yeah.
It was a Ronnie James Dio song.
Yeah.
It was a Dio song, you know, like. So it was funny that he mentioned Sabbath as like the dudes that he jams with instead of the Dio dudes, you know.
Exactly.
Or even like mentioning Rainbow or something like that. Yeah. It's like no, it's Sabbath. Yeah.
This movie's ridiculous most of the time.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
It's wonderful.
And it's even more ridiculous when like you get into the like deleted scenes and stuff too. Like there was a whole scene that was supposed to be done that was them going into like a military surplus store, and but like the guy that runs it is a total like conspiracy theorist kind of guy, and like they sing a song that's "The Government Totally Sucks," and literally the first line is "The government totally sucks, you motherfucker." It's a great little song. Dude, yeah. I mean, Tim Robbins, Ben Stiller freaking telling the whole story is great. I learned Latin. Why didn't you just hire a translator? So he could read it too? What's your favorite song?
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub?
Oh,
man. I always have a hard time picking. Because I'd be willing to even pick the Molten Lava song. Because it's like, just because that little riff is so catchy. And it's such a funny little scene where he's just like, you gotta go fast, like, hurry faster. Don't play fast, but go faster. You know, it's like we're losing our magic. We're losing the juju there. And when I was watching the commentary thing, like, apparently that was just something that people would sing all the time on set randomly, just being like, molten lava, that's it, keep playing that riff because we gotta get it on tonight. Yeah.
Molten lava. Yeah, Beelzebub. It's a great song. Plus, it's got Dave Grohl in it.
It does. Dave Grohl is wonderful in this. You know, like, we could talk about all the plot holes of, like, oh, Satan was banished back to hell because he lost his tooth. But before he gets his tooth back, he's Paul F. Tompkins, the open mic host, still on Earth. I guess maybe you can't assume the form of Satan while he's not complete.
Yes, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. You know.
Which, it took 7 hours for him to get into makeup.
Oh my God. Well, it's a pretty elaborate costume. Like, he's got the freaking goat legs, he's got the goat hair, he's all red, he's got the pentagram brand on his chest.
Yep.
The horns, the teeth, the goatee, the contacts, like everything. There's a lot going into that costume. And it looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Too. And I love
7 hours is worth it, I guess.
Yeah. Dave Grohl's the man.
Like, he is. He really is.
He just
really is
willing to put in the work, especially for the D. He was actually the original drummer.
I mean, at the concert, like, that he broke his foot.
Mm-hmm.
He came back on stage and still finished the concert.
Oh yeah. We're not canceling the show. I'm just gonna sit down for the rest of it.
He got his foot worked on and put back into place on stage while performing.
Yeah. He's the man.
This man is dedicated. He's dedicated to his fans. This is how dedicated this man is. He's wonderful. I love Dave Grohl.
Yeah. Yeah, Beelzebub is definitely one of my favorite songs.
It's definitely one that we listen to the most.
That one and Classico.
And Classico, yes.
Because Classico is just short and sweet, and I love like the little things that Jack Black is doing while he's singing the song. Like when he says "suck my cock" and he does like this weird shape, and suck my fucking cock, and I'm just like, whose cock is shaped like that? Shaped like a freaking, like, fancy vase handle or something. Okay. But yeah, I mean, the movie's dumb, but it's great. And it's hilarious, but it's stupid. And,
we love it.
yeah. If you had one thing that you could change about the movie.
I don't know if I really change. If you change anything, it takes so much out of the movie.
Yeah. I will say, the whole, like, when they briefly break up.
Oh yeah.
That whole scene.
Yeah.
I could deal without a lot of that.
I miss you, man.
See, that's great. Like, even the Dude, I Totally Miss You song. I love that song. You know? But, like, the whole mushroom trip and...
the baby Sasquatch.
Why does Sasquatch talk like a baby? And also, baby Sasquatch has to be a bit... Like, I don't know. It just... That seemed a little more...
You're my little baby Sas.
Yeah. Like, that never really got to me. Anytime I watch the movie, I'm just like, I could literally fast forward through most of that movie and be fine.
Oh, when they're going down the river and he's actually in the river.
Yeah. Well, like, oh, he's dead.
He's gonna die.
Yeah. He falls out of a tree. Oh, that probably killed him.
Yeah. Especially the shot to the balls.
Yeah.
Seriously. Oh, sweet babies.
That would have launched your balls out of your throat. Another little cameo. Colin Hanks throws the empty beer cup at Kyle when they're leaving the party. When he's leaving the party.
Yeah.
I always... Because his face is so out of focus that I'm just all like, oh, that guy looks like Colin Hanks. And then you go through the credits and Colin Hanks is actually in the movie. I'm all like, oh, you think they would have done a little bit more of a close-up on him for that?
I was right.
But yeah, and I remember seeing that scene multiple times and being like, oh, that looks like Colin Hanks, and then not paying attention to the credits to see if it actually was. And then eventually I'm just all like, alright, I'm watching this. I'm going to actually watch the credits. And I'm, scan through. And I did it tonight, too, to make sure I didn't miss any cameos, for characters that I just wasn't aware of or didn't quite recognize.
Yeah.
But I knew the Colin Hanks one. So that was pretty funny too. A really random freaking cameo.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he even in that?
Exactly. Why is he even there?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I got a whole lot more to say.
I think that's about it.
I mean, there's definitely more funny bits and little character moments that we could go over. Lee in the movie is based off of somebody that they actually know named Lee, but doesn't actually act like that. The line, Cheese Louise, Peppa Cheese, was actually a line that they had to fight to keep in the movie. The director wanted to cut it so bad, and JB and Kyle wanted to keep it. They're like, no, we love that line.
Cheese Louise, Peppa Cheese.
I freaking love that line, too. I say it all the time, but nobody knows what I'm talking about, because it's just such a throwaway line in the movie. Yeah, I mean... Well, the Rock and Roll History Museum is pretty cool. I wish that were a real thing. There's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but, the way they set up the Rock and Roll History Museum in this... Oh, here's another little, we'll throw back to our Dazed and Confused video. Why Zeppelin kind of sucks now. They wouldn't let them use Stairway to Heaven for the freaking thing. They had to call it the Guitar Way to Heaven.
Guitar Way to Heaven.
Which is fine, but, you know what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They're all like, no, give us a ton of money that you don't have.
Yeah.
Like, well, we can't do that. We have to make the movie.
Exactly.
It does feature that... whole room features a lot of cool guitars, though. Obviously, the SG that Angus Young uses. in one of the cases, you see Zach Wilde's guitar, see Randy Rhoads Flying V, you see the Jimmy Page double neck guitar, the double neck SG. There's an Eddie Van Halen guitar. There's like a Strat, like a worn Strat that's supposed to be one of Clapton's guitars. So one thing that's cool is that they actually got to use the Who, the music from the Who.
The music from the Who. Yeah.
So that was really cool. I like the little moments that they do a lot of like little callbacks, you know, like to earlier parts. Like the whole beginning of the movie has just like little setup points that they pay off later on, like the power slide and, you know, just little things here and there.
The cock push-up.
The cock push-up, yeah.
Use the cock.
Come on, helmet head.
Helmet head.
And just the whole, like, choir singing, cock, cock, cock. Gold. Absolute gold. Stupid, but it's
so
fucking
stupid,
amazing.
but it's
So
wonderful.
great.
It's fucking great.
Oh man. I could watch this movie right now again, and we literally just finished watching it.
Oh yeah, it'd still be just as funny.
Yeah, I would still laugh. And then I'd be all like, oh man, why didn't I mention this part in the movie?
Right.
Because it'd be an hour-and-a-half long video, because we'd be mentioning literally every single point
part
of the movie.
Yep.
Actually, it'd be a 2-hour-long video, because we've already spent half an hour setting up the movie and talking about the beer. So, I don't know. I think it's a good time to kind of end this. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. I don't know why you stayed this long and haven't seen the movie, unless you just don't care.
Seriously? It's a really good movie. You should watch it anyway.
Yeah. And then you'll probably notice some of those little things that we talk about.
Just remember us.
Yeah.
When he says, use the cock.
And the molten lava song.
And the molten lava song.
I love it. It's so dumb. Also, I wish I could get a custom-made acoustic guitar for $200.
Fucking
Also,
idiot.
live in Venice for $200.
For $200. Yeah.
Oh, shit, dude, I'd move there right now.
Serious. Same.
But
that was a nice apartment too. That was a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah,
in Venice.
one-bedroom apartment. It's got a kitchen, full living room, bedroom. Like, that shit was actually legit.
Yeah.
This place is futuristic.
This is where I'd come and hang and run my stuff.
Here's my place. Room 4. You always remember, my door is 4.
My door's 4. Yeah.
I think about stuff like that randomly, like, throughout the day. Like, I remember this movie and quote this movie so often, and it's, like, such a regular part of my life. I'm honestly amazed when people don't get it, but then at the same time, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm a crazy person. I've seen this movie literally probably 20 times. And, yeah, probably not that many other people.
Well, so now you know how it is in my life every day with all movies.
But anyways.
Yeah, that about wraps it up.
Yeah, I think we'll conclude the video now.
Yeah.
And then I'll, hit myself later for forgetting to talk about certain parts later on. But, nobody wants to watch a 2-hour movie, a 2-hour video about an hour-and-a-half long movie.
Maybe we'll do a live stream and just talk about all the stuff we missed in all of our videos.
I know, right? Oh, jeez. That would require us to watch all of our videos again.
Yeah.
Pour over and just be all like, yeah, we didn't mention all of this stuff. I think about that every time we finish a video.
Same.
Yeah. But anyways, here's to you.
Here's to me.
Friends for life, which shall always be.
If by chance we disagree.
Well, then screw you.
Here's to me. Cheers.